Yesterday I came across some information that I found quite interesting, but for all the wrong reasons. Today we are going to talk a little bit about GameStop and the new attempts to derail investors from sticking to GME and AMC by introducing lies, confusion and plain delusional takes for the sole sake of getting internet points and some clout. Though there exists a possibility this could be intentionally orchestrated by some hedge fund, I believe it to have been produced by some misguided shareholder. In the process, he contributed to a large misinformation that drove plenty of apes away from the real stocks, GME and AMC, and caused a lot of investors to get frustrated with uncertainty. This video aims to settle things down and put the anxiety to rest by providing data. The event I am talking about comes from a post on the biggest GameStop subreddit, Superstonk. The post goes on to assert and conclude that GameStop was going to be merging with Super League Gaming Inc. There are 7 points in the post that serve as evidence to the matter. The poster seemed to have extrapolated a lot of conclusions and not give any real concrete evidence to the matter. In fact, one of his points of why the merger was happening was because it would put GME shares on the moon, which isn't even evidence to a merger. You could say that about any two companies at the moment, and if going by the logic of the post, it would guarantee and serve as evidence for a merger. The sad reality of this was that upon reading this and then the comments below, many GME and AMC holders started buying SLGG, which is the Super League Gaming Inc. company's stock symbol. Their stock price actually surged overnight. This was pretty frustrating to watch, because this whole post honestly appeared to be directed towards freaking FOMO in the community and driving an otherwise unknown stock up. There could be a case that the people pumping this thread, which there were many, were also in the stock prior to it blowing up in order to cash in on the surge. The blatant manipulation tactics that hedge funds employ and we work so hard to destroy are now being spread and copied by some of our own members, and to say it is repulsing to see would be a major understatement. The most ironic fact in all of this is that Citadel themselves hold a position on SLGG, making this whole thing the sketchiest post I have seen yet. The post was also weirdly inundated with over 500 All-Seeing Eye awards, which is an award you can grant a post so that it becomes more visible. There were also stock options suddenly available for the SLGG, and knowing that Citadel is long on the stock itself and can sell options, this to me is a full-on FUD tactic and indirect attack on GME to create mass confusion and provide weakness. Luckily enough, the apes that roam through those subs are incredibly diligent in their homework and quickly shut down that claim by making new posts advising people to not invest in SLGG because the merger is all a lie produced to pump a new stock at the expense of the lack of mental retardation from newer GME and AMC holders. Under Texas law, which would apply to GameStop since that is where their headquarters is located, they are about 100 times the size of SLGG, and the merge with such a small company would cause an effect so small it wouldn't require or prone a shareholder vote. One thing to note here is that it is an open possibility for GameStop to merge, but there is absolutely no evidence that has been provided to think so. The only evidence that exists all points to blatant social manipulation done to create a feeling of missing out on newer investors and get them to pump the stock so that parties already in the stock itself can go and sell high, especially if they have option contracts. The relationship between Citadel and SLGG makes it even more sketchier, and I don't doubt that there is some connection between these. We buy only 2 stocks in this community, and those are either AMC or GME. We do not buy anything else. AMC is relatively cheap in comparison to GME, so it is more appealing to newer investors. If you own a bigger wallet and want to buy a GME, then do so. I depart from the premise that investors should have both. Whether you split it 50-50 or add more to one than the other is totally subjective. The reality of the situation is simple. Both stocks are shorted to the gills and are bound to explode upon the realization of some proposals and the growing pressure. Your job is to inform yourself correctly and turn away from information that is sketchy. The post we talked about had over 500 awards and had thousands of upvotes, and yet it has been proven to be a lie. Be careful not to trust posts just because they are popular. Hedge funds work hard and diligent to update themselves on everything we do by frequenting on our videos and social media groups. Be extremely careful what you read and always have an eyebrow raised. You should be buying only 2 stocks at the moment, and you already know what they are. Everything else is just noise. Drop a like on this video and let me know in the comments section what sources of information do you trust the most. I am curious to see where my audience sources their information. Before I briefly talk about price action and movements today, I want to ask again to please share and like the video if you can. There was a scary amount of people who believed that Reddit post to be true, and God knows how much they might be sharing misinformation that quite literally serves the hedge fund's ambitions and goals. Also, before I forget, I wanted to disclose one of the ways that some hedge funds are manipulating share price. They found a glitch that takes place during the fulfillment process of orders. Instead of selling shares when retail investors buy them, they instead issue an IOU, which is a notice of acknowledgement of debt. This, I believe, is done primarily through Robinhood. It makes so much sense now why it is so important for Robinhood app to sell all of their customer data. It appears on your app as the stock was bought, but the hedge funds that are long on the stock never actually sold anything. The loophole has been exploited for pure profits where they actually never really covered. It makes sense because even if users sold, they would just give you cold hard cash. Let's talk about this quickly. If they never actually sell or buy shares, the stock price doesn't go up or down according to buy and sell order flow. This might explain why the recent activity we have seen in supermassive buy orders doesn't always translate to actual price movement. The latest thing I have seen is them adding fractional numbers in order to keep them neutral to not bump the price up. We have covered this in previous videos with evidence. This explains how Citadel might be using data which Robinhood has been reported selling and making a big portion of their profits. Through this they had the ability to manipulate prices as were sweet to benefit their own agenda and investments. It makes sense now how it is so easy for them to always come on top and place bets against retail traders so successfully. It was only with GameStop and AMC that their scheme was exposed and are now in real trouble. When the stock drops, we buy. When the stock surges up, we buy. We don't sell under 6 figures. Tick-tock Kenny, tick-tock. Now, before I cover today's price action, I want to disclose that I am not a financial advisor and everything we are about to begin talking about in regards to stock prices is my own opinion. AMC began the pre-market being attacked and dipped down to 12.30, where the price remained for a couple of hours. Interestingly enough, that was more than enough incentive to get some opportunity-seeking apes to quickly buy cheap. It must have been a considerable number because after 7 a.m. the stock price went back up and reached 12.65 before the markets opened. Upon market opening, AMC once again dropped to 12.03 before surging up with a ton of strength and momentum up to 12.99, almost $13. The stock retraced back after the implementation of short ladder attacks. It then surged a bit on the last 2 hours of trading and closed at 12.55. We built a ton of support at 12.20 today, so expect that price to be tested tomorrow. We closed above the BWAP line. In accordance to my own plotter support and resistance lines, I think AMC trades in a range of 12.44 and 12.70 tomorrow, though another similar attack can be expected pre-market in order to drive the price down. Tomorrow it will be important as hedge funds will try to sink the price below $12 in order to have less call options expire in the money. Resistance will be expected at 12.70, at 12.60 and at 12.50, 10-cent differences in between. GameStop on the other hand was way more bullish early in the pre-market today, running to 172 before markets open. The stock nosedived to 167 upon market opening however, testing the lower band of BWAP. After that, the stock quickly bounced up and reached the upper BWAP band at almost 175. The stock then retraced and built some support at 169. Closing at 170.49, GameStop was literally only 50 cents away from the BWAP line, marking strong momentum in my opinion. With support built at 169, and resistance at 172 and 174, I think tomorrow pre-market we should trade similar to how we did today, with a bullish inclination towards breaking past 172. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I appreciate your support and loyalty to my channel. Remember to help me spread this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you guys tomorrow, and have a great rest of your day.